Hey friends, it's Carol, SaltBox Stitcher, back for another video. And here he comes with my coffee. Thank you, dear. Thank you, thank you. And this is episode... Yes?
140.
140. Wow. In fact, in June is our FlossTube-Aversary, eight years.
I should live so long.
Yeah, me too. I should live so long. I wanted to shout out a couple floss tubers. I watched one that I hadn't watched before. I think some other people have recommended her already. That's the Blooming Stitcher. Her first name is, what's her first name? Leah? I can't remember her first name. I apologize. Anyway, she's living around Denver, but she's originally from Arkansas, and she just started stitching last fall. But her mom stitches a lot, and she's got some beautiful things that she's finished. So she's got 2 floss tubes up, so go take a watch for the Blooming Stitcher.
How'd you find her?
How did I find her? Do you want me to brag on you, dear? Is that why you're interceding here?
No.
He saw it, and he said, here's somebody you may want to watch, because he watches a lot of YouTube, various different kinds of YouTubes, and he saw it. So he was like, you may want to watch her. I was like, okay, I will. So I did. And I recommend her. So anyway, Narissa has a new one out. I haven't watched that yet. Sewing Room Secrets. She did a tutorial on a bag, which was excellent, excellent, excellent. I was so happy to see she had a fast sewing machine. It's like, yay! I mentioned Nicole Spohr and her tutorial on pairs. That was great. I watched Kindred Stitcher. She has a beautiful framed piece of her Rose Wreath sampler by GGR. There's just a lot of good floss tube out there. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Live so long. Okay, so I have 2 finishes. Not fully finished, but you know, that's the name of the game here at my house. And then I have some things I've been working on. This probably won't be a really long video because I have stuff I have to do today. In fact, I have stuff cooking, so you can turn that timer off. Sorry. This is take 2, and that didn't happen in the first take. So anyway, I got kind of big hair today, but oh well. You know, people talk about big hair in the 80s, but actually there was big hair in the 60s too. Go look at some old Elvis Presley movies. So the style was you would part it in the middle, and then you'd have this big poof back here that was all like teased and ratted. We used to call it ratted. But you didn't come here for a talk about your local beauty salon or the hairstyles of the rich and famous, whatever. Okay, so what have I been stitching?
You have big hair?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to show you my 2 finishes, and then I'll show you what I've been working on, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, the first one that I finished is Harrison. This is one of the Animal Crackers by Stacy Nash. If you go to Christy Crosshatch Quilts, I don't think it was the last video, but one that was closer to Easter, she showed her fully finish of him, and he's adorable, Harrison. And he has a little bag that you make and carrots. And I originally got mine from a kit from Country Sampler. It came with the linen. I'm pretty sure it's Weeks Beige, which is not the called for. The called for was Weeks Corn Silk, but I'm pretty sure I did it on beige. And the kit had 36, but I'm not sure if I changed it to 40. So anyway, I know a lot of people don't like working with Weeks, but especially for these crackers, I don't mind even using the non-Zweigart weeks. Doesn't bother me. And then the other, so I haven't fully finished him. I'm trying my best to keep up with Suzanaki, but, you know, I'm just like eating her dust because I think she's got 8 of them done now. She was working on Henny Penny the last time I was over to her house, and adorable. Anyway, the next finish that I did was Plum Street Pledge of Allegiance. I love this one. Christy from Floss Boston Cousins and Tara Sully Stitches are doing a Sal hostessing, I don't know, a Sal stitch along on Instagram that's called Back to the Homeroom Sal, because everybody used to do the Pledge of Allegiance when you got to homeroom. Anyway, so I finished it. I used the Called For Eucalyptus by Fox and Rabbit, and there's my finish. So I had it finished. I started before they started. I think they started the Sal on May 1st. I had mine finished. I had started before then, so I finished it this week. But I hadn't done these little, they're kind of like elongated Smyrna crosses, those little white stars. So I had to go back and do those, which to me is a little bit tedious, but that's okay. It turned out cute. But while I was doing that, I found a leaf that I had forgotten, so I'm glad I went back. Again, Fox and Rabbit, Eucalyptus, 40 count. I have another piece of Eucalyptus that's 36 count, but it's a little more green. But this one is definitely blue. And I love it because the white lettering shows up so well. Anyway, I had originally bought this. This was in my stash. I originally had bought this for a sampler, I think. So I was kind of pleased that I had the actual called for, because I think it's really cute. A lot of people are doing it on like a tan, or even a more of a brown linen would be really cute too. So what else have I been working on? Well, I pulled out, let's see here. Which one is my floss? This one, Quaker Snippets by With Thy Needle and Thread. This is Quaker Snippets number 3. I'm assuming there was number 1. I probably have it. That was probably winter or Christmas, and then number 2 was spring, and this is number 3. I don't think 4 is out yet, because I don't think you had published 4 before 3, but this came out at market. Quaker Snippets. I love it. So, now I have to find it. Oh, here it is. I'm doing this on the Called For, which I think is Moonstone by Fiber on a Whim. I haven't trimmed it down yet. Here's the flosses. Here's my friend's floss rings that she makes. Love that one. Need some more, Patty. And there's the colors, red, white, and blue. And here's my progress. And by the way, I'm to the point here where the words E pluribus unum, and the background of the woods is roasted marshmallow. On the chart, the words are, the symbol is an X. But if you go to the legend, the actual symbol for the correct color, which is Pamlico by Weeks, is a slant. So there is no, on the legend, there's not an X. So I went to Country Stitches Online, and she has a part on her website that says corrections, and sure enough, that's supposed to be Pamlico. I kind of figured that because that was the darkest. So if you're doing this, just note that E pluribus unum, the chart shows an X for the symbol, and the actual thread legend shows a slant, but it's supposed to be Pamlico by Weeks. So that's where I am, about ready to start on the eagle after I do the words there. The other thing I worked on, and this was gifted to me by a friend, was a Plum Street America 250. Plum Street did a fabulous job on patriotic. She always does, but this year especially. America 250. And this is where I am on this one. I filled in behind the 1776, 2026, and I'm over here. I'm ready to start the eagle. The called for is Fiber on a Whim Smoky Quartz. I am using, it's a Lakeside. It's either pecan butter or vintage light exemplar. I'm not really sure. I thought it was pecan butter. But I love these, she's using Chesapeake for her blue, which is really kind of a green blue. It's really pretty. I love it. So anyway, I'm not using the called for that came in the kit because this was originally a retreat piece from the attic. My understanding, I went to their website to check it. It is sold out. Now, because the retreat was in August, it could be that Paulette Plum Street will release it in August of this year. I don't know. The rumor, I think Carolyn, who is managing the attic, I think she said they had over 6,000 orders. So Paulette may be done with it. I don't think so, because I think there's probably plenty of people that still want to get it. So that was another thing I worked on. And thank you to my friend who had gifted me that. She had the retreat kit. She said, I'll probably never stitch it, so I'll be glad to gift it to you, which was very kind. The other thing that I worked quite a bit on was this Teresa Kogut land that I love. I've had this for a long time. I actually had started it once before, had a silk conversion. I just wasn't happy with any of it. It just wasn't what I wanted. Some of the blues were kind of purpley, and it didn't float my boat. But what I've done on this one is quite a bit. I'm not doing I haven't trimmed it, so I have a big hunk over here. I haven't worked the border all the way around, which I normally do. But this border is like a double border going around. And so sometimes I can get off on those. Plus, this is 46 count. So I didn't want to chance it. So I'm kind of doing the border as I go. And right now I'm working on that pot of flowers right there under the flag. And I love this, but it's quite detailed on these flowers. There's like 5 or 6 colors when you count the color for the stems, the color for the leaves, the color for the flowers. There's quite a few colors, but it's so worth it. And one thing I do is I'll just get a color and just repeat that on all of the flowers, and then go get another color and repeat that, so that you're not changing colors actually every flower. Either that, or I'll thread up needles for each of the different colors. So anyway, I'm loving this. I'm doing this on 46 count Confederate gray, whatever it's called nowadays. I don't know. I think it's called gray now. What I like about this is it has a kind of a gentle bluish cast, and some of my 40 count gray has kind of a greenish cast. So I wanted to do this one. And the 46 was the only one that I had that had that kind of bluish cast. Anyway. It's the Zweigart base fabric. You can tell by the orange stripe on the selvage. And a lot of people don't like stitching with weeks, but I don't mind the Zweigart at all. Plus, I even use the non-Zweigart for some of like the animal crackers and stuff like that. And then I decided to start working on some samplers. Well, first let me say, on Sundays I try to work on His Eyes on the Sparrow, and then I'll show you some samplers. But I'm all the way down to one corner, a big corner, but one corner. And then I still have to do the leaves and the fruit on the tree of life. So this is where I am on this one. This is on 36 count Heartland, and mine is pretty gold. So I'm down to that corner. And I really am enjoying this. I try to work on it every Sunday or Monday, depending on when I can get to it. Has a needle in here, so sorry about that. Although it's not going to hurt you, it's going to hurt me. Anyway. So I'm really ready to finish this because I really want to start either Consider the Lilies or the new one, which is All Things Wise and Wonderful. These are by Heartstring Samplery. She has 3 of these big, ginormous ones, and I love them all. So, did I show you the chart for that? I think so, but maybe not. His Eyes on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery. She originally did it on 28 count, which is like, crazy. Okay, so first of all, let me say, and maybe I can have him insert a picture, but I have a lot of people always ask about the various samplers here. So this is just one wall. I mean, we have walls full, including the hallway. Anyway, so let me just say which ones. This one, which you can't see over here, is Pink House Sampler by Plum Street. That's not a reproduction. So I have my great-grandmother's name on it. The middle one is the Smith Sampler, and he'll insert a picture so you can see these better. Smith Sampler by Scarlet House. The next one is Sarah Elizabeth Brooke, also by Scarlet House. This one is Mary Bars by Stacy Nash. This one is Rachel Howells by Scarlet House. This is Red Deer Sampler by GGR, and this one is Esther Idison by Chessie and Me. So that's what's on the wall behind me, because I know a lot of people ask. Anyway, I decided Saturdays maybe to try to start doing some work on my samplers, Saturday samplers, whatever. I don't know if that even is catchy. I found scissors. I've been looking for these scissors. Oh, thank you, Lord. Woo! That was exciting. So this is Queen of the May from Hands Across the Sea. This came out last year. This is the 2025 Queen of the May, Elizabeth Stevenson, 1854. She's beautiful. She does not have any over 1 verses. There's a lot of people working on this that you see pictures on Instagram of their progress, and it's beautiful. Christy Crosshatch Quilts and Yvette Gonzalez are stitching on this, and they're doing assignments. I've tried. I can't do it. When I got done with college, I said, school's done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with school. That's it. No more school. Got my BS. That's all I intended to ever do. My husband is a lifelong learner. He's taken more classes, and he'll be interested in stuff, and he'll take a class. He's even done stuff online. Not me. I'm like, not that I know it all. That would be debatable. Maybe not.
You don't need to tend to anything on the stove.
Is it boiling away?
No. No,
it's okay. Yeah, I think it's still okay. It'll take a while for that to cook. Anyway, I'm boiling potatoes to make potato salad. So anyway, this is how far I am. I have gone all the way around with the bones of the border. I'm using just the ticket 40 count, which is the called for. I had this piece in my stash. So somebody said the newer just the ticket's a little more green. But anyway, I'm working on those flowers. And then I did that one band. So I'm really enjoying this. And I'm using the Aversary Soie d'Alger threads. Some people don't like these. They think they're too thick and puffy. I like them because they have a beautiful sheen and great coverage, but that's just me. So, and then one of the things I purchased, Sean Periwinkle Stitcher. She's a dangerous person to have as a friend. Although I think she has friends that are also dangerous to her. So, but I bought this Maria Wales Newsome, which is a Hands Across the Sea. It came out this spring, I think. And I think the Facebook group is doing, I think it's a Facebook group. Anyway, they're doing assignments, and if you get your assignments done in a timely manner and take a picture and post it in Facebook, you're eligible to get a prize when it's all done. I don't do assignments. I just repeated what I just said. when I was done with school, it's done with school. So anyway, but I would like to do this. It calls for lichen by Tabby Cat. I did order some, but mine came, it was very, very green, almost Christmas green. And this has more of a greeny, yellowy, grayish feel. So I've decided I'm going to use Lakeside Lentil, which it also has a kind of a yellowy green, but it's not overly powerful one way or the other, but I think it'll be perfect. But I'll have to see. I ordered the 103 for this. And there are some lighter colors in here, so we'll have to see if they'll show up. Hopefully they will. I think some of them are like within a flower, so we'll see. But I rarely would change things out, so we'll just see if that linen works, is what I meant. And the last thing I worked on quite a bit is Anton Ufendel. There's quite a few people I know. Sherry of it, that's so just so Sherry. She's in England, I think. She's like Northumberland area, which is my favorite detective show, Vera. I think she's in Northumberland. Anyway, somewhere around in there. So Anton Ufendel, I bought this book years ago when you could get both Isabella and Anne in one chart, and I started it. I've worked on it for years. It's something I need to really get some progress on. So up here there are some overwon motifs, and I am using the Aversary Soie d'Auger. And the issue with this is that it's puffy and it's hard to do an overrun motif. I'm fine with an alphabet, but anytime you have 3 or 4 stitches locked in together in a motif, it's too crowded. So the original chart I had was just called for Soie d'Auger, which is what I'm using, and DMC. The newer charts, according to Hands Across the Seas website, the newer charts, which do not have both charts, they just the one, Anne or Isabella, it has the 103. So now I'm able to find the colors that will correspond to the Soie d'Auger, so I can do those overwon bits with 103. So this is my progress on Anton Ufendel. Mostly what I did was down here in the bottom. I got all those, okay, so in the flowers and the stems, there's these little extra little leaves along here. You can see them. And they're a different color than the stem and different color than the leaves. So I went all the way around on the bottom and finished those. So the next progress I'll work on will be the flowers. And then now that I have those 103, I could actually start working on the motifs too. Okay, one other thing I wanted to talk about. I think I showed you some non-patriotic haul that I had last time from Market. These were, I hope I didn't show you these last time, but I have this, which is Annie B's. Everybody's doing these patriotic pears, which, by the way, Nicole Spohr does a great tutorial on the fully finishing pears. If you want to do them yourself, she's got a great tutorial. And so I'm going to use, for the blue, the piece that I cut off of that eucalyptus from Pledge of Allegiance, and then I have a piece of Aztec red. So I will be using 40 count, and then I have some Thornfield, which is what's called for the neutral color. And then one other thing I wanted to show you was this berry, which is a freebie from Erica Michaels. You can get it on Fat Quarter Shop. And I'd like to do this. My friend Susan Aki did it on Week's Red Pear. It's gorgeous. It's really pretty. So that's a thought that I might do that. That way you have berries and pears and all that, and they have a little variety. The other chart I got was this Early Workings, which is by Tina Woltman. It's called Martha Tucker, 1776. And I think I got this from Annabella's, but I'm not sure. But there's only one place you can get it. So if you Google Martha Tucker 1776, I know Tara Sullivan is working on hers. I also got Patriotic Tiny Town. Like I said last time, have I done any tiny towns? No, but anyway. They also got this one, which is with Thy Needle and Thread, One Flag, One Land, Uncle Sam. So, the only other thing I want to show you is that I kitted up some other non-patriotic things that I want to at least start. This one is ABC 123 by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I think Sully Stitches. You're really kind of showing us all up, you know. With your finishes and then immediately framed and then immediately fully finished. But that's okay. We're all happy to come in second, third, 25th place behind you. It's all good. Our pace, our race, our pace. ABC 123 by With Thy Needle and Thread. Amazing Grace, also by With Thy Needle and Thread. With Needle and Thread by With Thy Needle and Thread. A lot of people are working on this. It's adorable. And the last one I kitted up is this one, which is Upon My Heart by Plum Street. Jesus, set my soul apart and write thy name upon my heart. Love it. And those I have in a Berry Stitch Folk tomato bag. I've had this for a while, and I haven't really used it a lot, but I thought these were the perfect ones to put in there. Now, once they get going, once I start them, I could put them in a different project bag. I don't know. But I have all the threads kitted up for all these. And the linens, I don't know, I may change, but that's what I have going. Okay, stay tuned, because if you watch all the way through, I will show you the answer to the mystery of what happened that was on my iron that caused my sampler that I showed you to get yuck on it. So anyway, because I solved that mystery. So I will I'm not sure. I may show you some more things. So. Okay, I'm back. The other thing I wanted to show you is that I've kitted up some of the other items that were new this year for market. The first one that I kitted, and it's in my Berry Stitch Folk bag that I love. The first one I kitted was ABC 123. Mostly I have the called for on this by With Thy Needle and Thread. Oops, upside down. Nope, right side up. The next one that I kitted up is also With Thy Needle and Thread, and it's called With Needle and Thread. A lot of people are stitching it or have already stitched it. It's gorgeous. The other one that I kitted was Upon My Heart by Plum Street, with all the called for, I believe all the called for. I might have changed linens on some of these, so when I start them, I will give you the update on what linen I'm using. And then With Thy Needle and Thread, Amazing Grace. Love this one. I have the Annie V's pairs, which Nicole Spohr does a wonderful tutorial on how to fully finish them. I have not stitched them. I have the thread. I think I'm going to use, this is, what is this? Aztec Red by Weeks. This is a little bit of the eucalyptus left that I had from Pledge of Allegiance, so there's enough of that. And then the off-white or tan is Thornfield, and I have some of that, so Those will be the 3 pairs. And then this piece was a freebie, Erica Michaels 250 Berry. You can get it on Fat Quarter Shop. And my friend Susan Aki stitched it on red pear, and it's gorgeous. So I had a piece of red pear, and I'm thinking about doing that berry, because with the navies, it just is really pretty on the red pear. So, and then a couple other things. I don't know if I showed you these. I don't have these kitted, but one flag, one land by With Thy Needle and Thread. I don't have it kitted, but I do want to stitch that at some point. Patriotic Tiny Town. Did I show you that last time? I don't know. I also got the Stitchers Tiny Town, so those are like 2 of them. Then I also got this one. A lot of people are working on this one. I think Tara is Early Workings. Martha Tucker, 1776 by Tina Woltman. You can get this exclusively through, I want to say Annabella's, but I'm not sure. Just, if you want to get it, just put in Early Workings, Tina Woltman, and it will come up. So the other ones that I would love to work on, or at least get started, are the other 2 Rhode Island samplers, A New Constellation. I have this all kitted by Plum Street. This came out years ago, 2018 to be exact. And then I also have this one, which is the Equality Sampler. I did the first one, and this came out in 2020. So I'm way behind on doing those. So Plum Street's done some fabulous patriotic. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll come back and I'll tell you about the mystery. Okay, so if you watched one of my, I don't know if it was last video or the one before, but I had finished, what's the name of it? Anyway, the sampler that I ended up getting yuck on my iron. It's a Whilst Iris Snaps sampler. It has 2 red houses.
It was the last episode.
It was the last episode, he said. So I went to press it and something came off my iron. And I have gone, people have made suggestions. Maybe your husband used the iron. I said, no, he doesn't usually iron. And then people said maybe it was the plug to the iron. No. I have one of those daylight. In fact, Hub's got it to me for Christmas. One of those lamps that I take with me to retreats or stitch with friends. That's a lamp and it has the magnifier. So it came with this sleeve to protect it, which is like, seems like it's like a velveteen. So I was at my friend's house and I went to put my lamp back in here, and what do I see but this big, and it's hard as a rock. Not as a rock, but you know what I mean? It's very hard. And I'm like, ah, that's it. Somehow this, when I was charging the iron, charging the lamp, I must have set this on my ironing board and my iron for some way touched it. And that's the mystery solved. Now, I would not think that velveteen would melt like that and make a real hard, almost plasticky. So I don't know what's in this. I know when I was a textiles major in college, we tested fibers, and anything that had like rayon or polyester, any non-natural fiber would ball up into like a little plastic ball. So it's got some artificial man-made fibers in it that's caused it to do that. So anyway, end of the mystery. So if you were interested.
What's the moral of that story?
The moral of the story is don't set things next to your iron. Or don't check your iron before you iron your samplers. There's 2 morals. So anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. This wasn't a very long video, but I got stuff I gotta do today. So I gotta make some potato salad and some other stuff. So I hope you all have a good rest of May. I hope you have a good Memorial Day, although by the time you see this, Memorial Day may have passed, but we'll be into June, and there's Flag Day, and there's 4th of July, and so there's lots of upcoming holidays, and so I'm hoping to get a lot done because both of my kids in June will be gone. My son's going to his wife's grandparents' cabin for a week, and my daughter and their whole family is going to Cooperstown in New York for Elijah to play baseball up there. So very exciting. He just turned 13, so lots of fun and lots of good memories. So anyway, I will see you when I see you, and I hope you're all doing well and getting lots of stitching done and maybe having some family times now that spring has arrived, or summer as it is here in Florida. So anyway, love you. Bye.